Hi everyone, it's Laura at Hyperstamper. I have one of my wonderful My Book House books that I've turned into an antique junk journal. This one is actually 70 years old and it looks brand new, but it is in fact very old. And this is one I can very rarely get my hands on. It's the Magic Garden. In fact, I don't know if I've ever had this edition. And I have had dozens of My Book House books. So before I put this in my Etsy shop, I'll take you on a little journey inside and then remind you that everything inside is authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera. I've got photos and postcards and dust covers and greeting cards, just a plethora of stuff. So let's take a look. And here we go. Sorry, those are just a little stuck together. Here's the original first page. Look at how awesome that is with the little fairy flying away with the mushrooms. And it was so tempting for me to take this page and put it in my folder for my fairy journals, but I always keep the original first page with the book they belong to. And there it is there, 1956, publisher's page. And this is a vintage ledger sheet. And just some antique paper butterflies and flowers throughout. Here's just a little waterfall journaling card here. And this is a beautiful postcard. Look at that scenery. And that is not too shabby for the, approximately 1915. And the only message on this postcard is too much fog to see this. A very grumpy person was upset they couldn't see it. And I don't blame them. So they would have bought a postcard to remind them of what they didn't see. And often they would buy postcards as photographs. They didn't have cameras. So here is a 50-year-old plus Birds of America page. That's a beauty one, the Sandpipers. And I love this little baby card. Look at how sweet this is with the little paper ruffle all the way around. And then when you open it, you ready? Wait for it. It's a shadow box. Can you see that? I've made shadow box cards and I cannot believe that there are some that are 80 years old. So that is pretty cool. That just, I love it so much. So there you go. Pretty cool. And then I made this tag here out of a book from the 1800s that was just too ruined for me to do anything about it. But the leather has pulled away from the base here, so you can just journal on there. Pretty cool. And this is one of these 100-year-old non-twisting twines here, and it is English. And it's got the beautiful little picture there. It's really quite spectacular. I made a little pocket for it there out of some linen. And then this is a beautiful transfer, iron-on transfer here for embroidery. And look at this design. Isn't this lovely? Because we've got the woman here sewing with her little bonnet on. And then one up here carrying a cup of tea. And that would have been used for tea towels. And that's pretty typical, but beautiful, old, probably from the 40s, that one. And here's another one of these fantastic vintage souvenir napkins from Pennsylvania. There's a vintage children's book page. And this is from the early 1900s. There's a lovely little image there hiding behind there. This is a 1920s 100-year-old plate here. Bedtime verse and Mother Goose rhymes. Look, this is clearly Little Miss Muffet. And there's the little spider there. And if you look down here, and I just noticed it now, I've never noticed it, there's 3 little fairies there. Oh, I've never seen fairies with Miss Muffet. That's very cool. So 2 fairy things in here. Neato, Pepito. A pearl shopper seat from the 50s, a Trees of America from the 70s, so 50 years old. And then this is just a really cool vintage newspaper page depicting antique, or from the 1870s, long ago, fashions. Pretty cool. And just one of these cute little Melmar food coupons for 25 cents. And there's a 1930s stamp down here. And this is another one of these wonderful antique dictionary pages, badges of various orders. So these are just beautiful, beautiful badges. Oh, I just love it so much. Just fantastic. So that goes in there, a little pocket from the 30s, from the 20s. And then this is a belly band, or not a belly band that I made out of a vintage book spine from Nancy Drew book, The Mystery at the Ski Jump. And this is a card from 1928, little agricultural business card that would have been sent through the mail. And this is very cool from World War II. It is from Leonidas that was sent to the watchmaking factory in Hamilton. So I think that's very cool. I love it. More vintage journal sheets. And here, this is really cool. This is the Gentleman's Letter Writer book from the 1800s. This particular one is how to write a letter to the officers of Her Majesty's household, because who doesn't do that every day, and baronets, knights, and esquires. That is so cool. So if you ever want to know how to write a letter to a baroness, there you go. You need to have this journal. This is from a very old book, and I just chose it because you can do a lot of journaling in here, and there's this beautiful plate on the inside. And that is early 1900s, turn of the century. Interior spine, I just love the texture of it. 1850 Hogarth engraving. This is just a great 1930s children's book page, just for fun. Love it, just for fun. Lavender and Old Lace. That book there. Oh, this I love. So the Best Loved Trees of America, I use the pages from this in a lot of my journals because they're just so beautiful, and the sepia tone on them is fantastic. But look at that great dust jacket. Isn't it remarkable? And of course you can journal on the flip side of that. More children's book pages to enjoy here. And look at this adorable little outfit. And I want to show you, look at her little feet there. The little straps come under her heel. Isn't that great? I just think that's so cute. Dictionary page there from the 30s. And then this is a photograph. This poor guy got his head cut off, but the ladies made it into the picture. But look at their dress. That is a beautiful antique photograph from the 20s. This is a data entry card. Not sure the date. When I looked it up, it said it might be from the 60s or 70s. That's pretty neato pepito. And then this is, I don't have many of these left, so I do cherish them. This one is, it's a wallpaper border that was hand paint rolled. So each roller had a different color pieces on it, and they would have to line them up perfectly so the colors landed exactly where they should be. And that is early 1900s. It's just beautiful. So I turned it into a pocket. And that's from my sister. My sister gave me that roll of border. And then this is another 1936 Paris, France almanac. And just the best illustrations and stories. Again, just Google Translate that. Enjoy their satirical humor. And that is a hand-typed research page. I turned into a pocket in 1955. Recipe page, and another 100-year-old children's workbook, and this beautiful cherry blossoms here. And this is as brand new as it looks. It's actually from the early 1900s. It's just gorgeous, stunning. Another vintage dictionary page, and this here is Fun with Dick and Jane. And there you go. Dick has a little rabbit in the garden there, and then Puff the kitten. I love Puff the kitten, always have. Another vintage botanical page. This is from an antique Danish book. Really cool illustrations in there. That's one of the ones I thought would be fun to keep. That is from 1927 down there from another My Book House. That one's the treasure chest. And this one's from 1935. Children's book, Tiny Tots. There it is there. And these three pieces here, I just put them in because they're really interesting. These are Laura Lee Hope books, the Bobbsey Twins author and a Honey Bunch author. And then this one here, I just put in because it's blank on one side. It's an antique book page. You can journal on that. And this one, I just really loved this little, it's a cute little story too, the little gray kitten, antique paper on the back for journaling as well. And then this, don't get creeped out yet, it's really cool. I was a little creeped out when I saw it at first, until I saw they are really old antique dolls from 1810. And then on the back there are how to make woodblock stamps. Isn't that neat? I really like that. So very historic piece there. And then look at that great illustration there. The three children playing with the dogs and the toys. Handwritten original thesis page. Journal on the back of the Monopoly money there from that came probably from the 40s or 50s. 1930s Flinch card number 6. And another vintage playing card. Very cool how worn it got. I love that about it. And that is from 1887, and it's a really beautiful stream here. We've got the birds with their eggs, And it's really lovely. And this came from Things DIY kind of book from the 40s, I believe. Woodworking tools. Look how cute that is. He made this cute little toy here for his baby. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. You can find this, and if I only have a few left in my Etsy shop as of today in July 2025, but check them out, hyperstamper.etsy.com. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you soon.